Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 10 of 40 Something Podcast. I'm Trevor Schaefer, and you are, sir.
I am Jerry Mullen.
Wow.
Last time I checked, hold on. Yeah.
Check the underwear.
Yeah. No, I don't wear that.
Creepy.
So we were like off a month.
Yeah, inadvertently, we had some life stuff come up, and then Father's Day, and it was just 4th of July. Well, we don't really, But, yeah, we had some life happened, as I like to say. Life happened.
Yeah.
But,
And that's why we don't commit ourselves to a schedule on this show.
Yes. Unlike other podcasts where we had to do it every week, and this is bi-weekly, and you know what? If we don't get to it, we don't get to it.
Yeah. What kind of gum? Welcome.
I like that. I like that.
That's one of our statements at work. Which is probably not a good thing now that I think about it, but hey, whatever. So let me bring up something that I know we brought up on a lot of casts in the last 9 episodes before this. Toys R Us finally closed its doors.
I know.
And there's this great picture, I don't know if you saw it on the internet, of like a He-Man figure and Skeletor.
Yeah.
All these famous action figures waving.
They're waving.
Toys R Us. Or the Jeffrey costume with his backpack.
Mm-hmm.
God, that was depressing, actually, now that I think about it. But, man, you know what? Just to see that place, like you said you went there, I think, the day before they closed.
The day before I went, I just happened to be in the area doing some errands. And I'm like, you know what? I'll stop by. Because I took the kids about 2 weeks before that. And they still had quite a bit there, and we got quite a bit. And then when I went there, I actually ran into my neighbors. Ran into her wife, and their son. And we're just standing there just kind of just taking everything in because you had the registers when you walk in. And there was only, I'd say, about 15 to 20 feet beyond the registers, and everything else was roped off. All the signage was taken down. There were crews there actively taking down all the aisles, all the racking, all the shelving.
Oh, God.
And it was surreal because you could see right to the back. You could see all 4 walls, and just everything was gone. Back in the corner where the action figures were, Spider-Man was off the wall. There's nothing there. And they had a couple, her wife was there for gift bags. So they were getting gift bags. There were 18,000 Skylanders for like $0.25 a piece, which no one was biting on.
Yeah.
And then some kind of kids figure from a show I'd never even heard of before. But it was absolutely nothing worth buying. It was just, I just wanted to go to say goodbye. And I thought, okay, I could walk around the store one more time. And you couldn't get much past the registers, which was just depressing in and of itself.
Yeah, the last time I was there was probably about a month ago. And like the electronics section was like basically stripped bare. They still had a bunch of the Nintendo action figures, and 65,000 Princess Peach amiibos were still there, and or whatever the one with the stars is, Rosalina or whatever that is. They had a whole shelf of them. I said, well, you're never gonna sell them unless you give them away for free, guys.
Yeah.
And then they had what they surprisingly had a lot of was the controller chargers for the Switch.
Really?
It's the little the stand you lock them into, and it charges off the off the wall instead of the console. They had like 15 of them.
Oh wow!
But I already had it. I wish I hadn't bought mine because I probably would have got that for a song. But yeah, it was just depressing to walk around. Like at that time, they still had it was all still open.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially that section in the middle of the store with the Thomas the Tank area.
Yeah.
You know that pretty well, and the bikes and everything behind that. There was still a good amount of things to sell there, but you could see certain sections were just like stripped bare. Yeah. Either people had come in to clean them out, or they had they got rid of it at that point. But it's just so sad to see like a major part of your childhood
gone.
You're just gone. And then, I keep seeing rumors online, which I'm pretty sure is all they are, of the former CEO of Toys R Us. He left years ago with like $1 billion, so that might explain some things. I want to check into that, guys. But he was talking about trying to buy like a portion of the stores in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Just like another company bought the Canadian branch of Toys R Us, or the Canadian stores, they're still going there. I don't know if they're under a different name, but
they're going to be under a different name because I think it's next month, they auction off the actual name Toys R Us, the copyright. So they're auctioning that off.
I don't know if that would go for a lot of money. You think that would?
Oh hell yeah! I mean
Well,
that's
not.
it's
It's not,
Americana right there.
well, I know that, but it's not associated with anything anymore. It's not like there's any brick and mortar stores left that are open to. You know what I mean?
Okay, but 5 years from now, hey, let's go get a toy. Where do you want to go? Your first reaction is Toys R Us. There's your brand recognition right there.
Well, yeah, and they'll have that forever. You know what I mean?
That's why that brand is going to be always familiar because say you buy that brand for $5 million.
It would have been more than that.
You hold on to that. 10 years down the road, say Target wants to branch out and they go, you know what? We want to make a whole store that's just toys. They call it Target Toys. Now, instead of Target Toys, wouldn't you be looking around going, what if we bring back the Toys R Us?
I want to see KB come back. That's me.
That was a rumor that they're going to have pop-up KB stores for this holiday season in malls. That I'd like to see. I was sad when KB closed. I was devastated when Toys R Us closed.
I was sad when KB closed. Man, did they have some great sales though. They were just shut. They were just like getting rid of anything.
But KB was always in a mall, and it was always very tightly packed. With Toys R Us, that was your toy mecca. You could, if you couldn't find it at
It was
Toys
a
R
grocery
Us,
store for toys.
Yeah.
Remember we said that.
I mean, pre-internet, if you couldn't find it at Toys R Us, chances are they didn't make it.
Yeah. Or it was like a high collector's item.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where the people you know who collect action figures they had already pillaged it. You know.
And what I didn't know, my mom and I were talking about this last week, and I know your dad worked for Toys R Us. Was it the 80s or was it the 80s or 90s he worked?
He worked from the really, I would say from 88, maybe before that,
Okay.
until at least 94, 95, because I worked there from 94 to 95.
Because what I didn't know is apparently back in the 80s, they would actually hire on extra holiday help as list runners. That my parents would go in there with a list from us, and people would come up, hi, what are you looking for? And they would literally, my parents would go, we're looking for this. And they would actually walk my parents around, and they did this for a bunch of parents, with a cart, and literally point you and get you to everything that was on your list. So the poor parents that were looking for, Mossman of Masters in the Universe had no clue what the hell that is.
Yeah.
And they would get it for them right there.
That would have been really great. I worked at, well, that would be a really great job. I would love that job.
Mr.
Well, anyway,
Calling.
no chance of getting that now.
Nope.
I had a job at Toys R Us where I had to sell Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis games to people.
Oh,
That's
Jesus.
my job.
That's like
I
cake.
had hit like the gold mine of all jobs.
Seriously.
Like I had to go up and down that aisle and ask people what they're looking for, what system that they had. I had to put those yellow tickets in. That job sucked. That's all I had to do. I had to sell. I got to play everything that came into the store. It was like really a dream job for me. Looking back, but it was a job, so I was like, man, I don't want to work, But
But it's not so much work as play. That's why I kind of looked at my job when I was at Electronics Boutique for a while. Because, yes, there were days it was horrible. You had to do all kind of shit. But then there were the other days in the summertime when we were slow that we'd have the TV in there with, displaying all the ads. We'd hook up a PlayStation. We'd play Madden, while we're working. And you had that great kind of yin and yang of, yes, this is a job, but damn, it could be fun at the same time.
I remember going to work one day there, and it's midsummer, so it's like 64,000 degrees out, and people are doing like summer shit, like now. You know what I mean? You're out swimming, you're hanging with your family. Nobody's coming into a goddamn toy store, unless they want to come in for the air conditioning, which happens quite often. You could see people were coming in and never buying anything. They were just cruising to cool off, But I remember playing like Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo for like 4 hours and getting paid for it. You know what I mean? Like people would be coming up, I'd be playing with them, or I'd hand it off to them for a while. Oh man, Looking back, that was a good job. Plus, it was right across the street from Top Dog.
Oh, yes.
Oh man, and that was like, that was awesome. If you don't live in the Northeast Pennsylvania, you don't know what it is. I'm sorry. Greatest arcade of all time.
Basically, it was an arcade that sold 39-cent hot dogs and hamburgers.
Yeah, 49-cent cheeseburgers. I can't believe a dime for cheese.
Greasiest shit in the world, but you didn't care.
No, I remember going there with like $4 on my lunch, maybe $5, like for food, and then like $12 to put quarters in my pocket, fucking pocket money shit over and over and over. For like, I mean, we got an hour lunch at Toys R Us. If you worked more than 8 hours, or if you worked 8 hours, you got an hour lunch. And I remember like, you go to lunch at 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Punch out at 5. I'm over at Top Dog. Run across the street because I didn't have a car. Run across the street. Now that's 309. I'm running.
That's a 4-lane highway.
Yeah, that's a 4-lane highway. Run across the street. Order my burgers. Knew the guy that worked there. He already had my shit ready. Eat. 52 minutes to gaming. Run back across the street. Barely make it back.
And then you play games while you're getting paid for it.
Yeah. Then I play games and get paid for it. People would tip you for helping them. I always thought that was really generous. I couldn't take it. I always liked that. Like some dad would be like, "Oh, thanks for helping me." He hand me like $10. And I'm like, "Just keep it. Spend it on your kid, please."
Yeah. Buy a memory card. Trust me.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, you weren't memory carding then yet. That was Super Nintendo and Genesis level.
No, 94. That would have been close to No, it wouldn't have been. PlayStation was 95.
Yeah, 95. So
Yeah,
that was.
never mind, yeah.
You were at the. In the Super Nintendo thing, you were at the Super FX level.
Yeah.
At that point. That's where you were at. That was pre. They were probably in the deal for the PlayStation at that time.
That was right when Sony got really butthurt because Nintendo pretty much walked away from the CD.
That was Nintendo. That was stupid of that.
Yeah, that was.
And looking back, they created their own worst enemy.
They did.
Speaking of that, Ben Heck. It's funny you say that because we're talking about the PlayStation, but I watched that video where he broke down the Super CD. Ben Heck. You watch Ben Heck.
Oh, yeah, I watched it. I don't know if I've seen that one.
The guy found the original.
Oh, yeah. No, yes, I did see that because that was a series. He did like 5 of those because he wasn't able to keep it. So he'd follow this guy when he came to a gaming convention close to him. He'd go there and he'd get access to it while it was at the gaming convention.
Yeah, I would watch the first couple parts of it. And then I was like YouTube's weird. When you search for something, it starts bringing up like related topics,
Did you?
Related...
Sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I had a
Did you see the episode where after trial and error, he finally figured out what CD-ROM was compatible with it?
Yeah, because I've seen them all now.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but I finally, I finally watched the last one where he had got like. He got the thing to work and actually loaded a game, which were like, they were homebrews anyway because there was never any real games produced for it. But the homebrew stuff like that. Now, and then he turned to camera and he goes, "It's up to you guys now."
Yeah.
We start games for this thing, But I could see like, I can't see that being like, that's just going to be a emulators market. There's no. Because there's only one of them.
There's only one. No one's ever going to. You're never going to want to do anything to. I don't want to say to sully it, but you're never going to want to do anything on it too intensive because it was so hard. I mean, the first CD-ROM he found that would even play music was out of a vintage 90s era Sony boombox.
Yeah, I know.
And I mean, there's not a lot of replacement parts that you almost don't want to do too much to it for fear of something breaking. And now it's just
then it's shot.
Yeah. That I mean, I think where he got it was probably the best part. And that, okay, it's working. You really can't do much, but it works. And this is a piece of video game history.
It is. But I like the fact that he knew to, the ROMs that came out, he would, I think there was one called Super Boss Rush and Boss Gaiden or something like that. Super Boss Gaiden, that's what it is. And there's another game, it was like a puzzle game that somebody made for it. But they were like 40K games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're tiny, you know what I mean? And then, he was, what was the other thing I was trying to figure out? Like, how many megabytes were on a Super Nintendo cartridge? Because they always use the term megabit. Like, I don't know why we had to fucked that up.
Yeah, megabits and megabytes are completely different.
They are, but there is a conversion you can use. Yeah, like I had to Google that
because your cable modem is measured in megabits, not megabytes. So, like, I have a 25 megabit down, which is not 25 megabytes down. It's closer to like 2 megabytes down. And that's on a good day when it's sunny, no one's around, and the dog smiles at you and brings you a coffee.
Yeah.
It just never happens. Let's put it that way.
Why didn't we get Google Fiber? Anyway.
I would have been happy with Verizon Fios, but we never... There's fiber in the area, but the problem is it's at business pricing, and I've looked into the business pricing, and it's just outrageous.
Couple $100 a month?
Several hundred, like $400 or $500.
Wow. Oh, that truly fucking sucks.
Let's see, how much memory does an SNES cartridge hold? It could only hold
6 megabytes, I think, is what I read.
117.75 megabits.
So I think that's like, I think I remember looking it up, and it was like 6 or 8 megabytes. Because you could do a conversion. That might be wrong. That might be some.
Well, I'm about to
convert it.
Yep.
So.
Megabit to megabytes, and 14.7 megabytes.
Wow.
That's actually not that bad.
Think about some of those games you played and how expansive they were.
Yeah.
Like you played Secret of Mana.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great game. It was remade recently, too, but off the point. Off topic with Jerry and Trev. That's what this episode should be called. But look how, like, expansive that was. And you look at games like Chrono Trigger and any of the Final Fantasy series on the Super Nintendo, and in fact on the NES, too, if you go back to it. But you look at those games and you think, man, listen to this music and listen to this, all the text dialogue and the animation of the characters, and you're like, this is on 14 megabytes.
Yeah. I mean, that's just... Well, think about... Hang on one second. What is... Sorry, I know I shouldn't be typing and talking.
That's okay.
The average NES game...
It's like 4 megabytes?
Well, no. It varies from 8 kilobytes to 1 megabyte.
Isn't that mind-blowing?
It is absolutely
think about what you played on the NES. Like, I think of the original Final Fantasy when I think of the NES. That's what I think of. Or Legend of Zelda, but I truly think of the original Final Fantasy because that's a genre for me that holds a lot of memory.
Yeah.
And unlike the NES cartridge. And, that game takes like 45 hours to beat. Maybe more or less, depending on how well you know the game. But the world's huge in it. And you're like, this is on like 40K.
Okay.
Props to the programmers.
Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable what they were able to do with the limited space that they had. Yeah. But again, and we have this we have this argument how many times, it's not about the graphics of the game. It's about the gameplay. Back then, they couldn't do flashy graphics, so they had to make a solid gameplay and a story. And that's what a lot of games today are missing.
You had to use the game to sell the game.
Yes.
You could make it look great. I mean, there were games that did the gimmick, like, and I said it before, the Super FX chips games. Mm-hmm. They were really great. And they were genre-breaking because, they were genre-breaking, but they were, like, technical-breaking because you were getting polygons on a Super Nintendo.
When you first saw Star Fox, your mind just...
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
I to this day when I play it, even when I play, I have an actual cartridge for it, but I just play it on the emulator. I'm not gonna lie. But when you play it to this day, it's still like, shit. Look at this, man. Yeah. This was on a cartridge, and when you try to sell that to the next generation, that it's lost on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like the first time you saw, this is what I always reference to. The first time you saw Donkey Kong Country.
Mm-hmm.
That was CGI.
That was all pre-rendered.
Yeah, it was all pre-rendered shit.
Yeah.
And that's on a Super Nintendo cartridge.
It's
so was Vector Man on the Genesis, if you know what that is, but that's pre-rendered shit.
It's funny you should bring up the first time you saw that. So we're just getting out of a heat wave out here in the east, where it was heat index of 120 every single goddamn day.
Subnuclear.
Subnuclear. So in preparation for that, I wanted to find something that we could all do inside because honestly, it was too hot to even go out to a pool. I mean, the sun was trying to kill you the entire time. So the week before, I had finally found a nice CRT TV, finally, a tube TV, for my new office to hook up all the retro systems to. And I was sitting there one night, and I'm like, you know what? My kids have never played outside of the arcade that's in the movie theaters now, a light gun game. So I couldn't find my Zapper. My Zapper still somewhere is with all my Nintendo powers, whether that be lost in my attic, at my parents' house after they moved, or gone with my ex. I don't know where it is. So went to one of the local video game stores or used video game stores, got a Zapper.
How much was it, if you don't mind me asking?
It was $15, which same thing as eBay prices. I didn't mind.
Was it the orange one or the gray one?
Ah, ha, ha, ha. Great story. I love going to. Have you ever been to One Up Games over in 40 Fort?
No, I haven't been there. I kind of follow them on Facebook a lot, though, but I've yet to actually.
The owner is awesome. I've dealt with him a bunch of times. He has a dog, a boxer named Lola, that walks around. Beautiful dog, very friendly, and we always chit chat. So I walk in, and he's like, "Can I help you?" I said, "Yep, you got exactly what I need." And he had two Zappers behind his counter, one gray, one orange. And I said, "I need a Zapper," and of course he did. Do you have a CRT TV? He said, "Yep, just got one." He's like, "Okay." He goes, and he just stops and looks at me and goes, "Do you want pre-'89 or post-'89? I looked at him and went, "Pre-'89?" He goes,
Yeah, absolutely.
He goes, "Yep, good man." He goes, "I don't know why anyone would want a post-'89. That orange is ugly."
It is.
It's like, yeah.
I had an orange one.
No one cares you had an orange one. You're from Jersey. Sorry, my wife was yelling that she had an orange one.
I heard her. I was going to make a Jersey joke, too, but I like your wife, so let's move on.
So we went and bought a bunch of light gun games and came home, hooked it up, and these kids were just, their mind was blown by Duck Hunt. Because the only way my son really knew Duck Hunt was through YouTube videos and playing him in Super Smash Wii U. So he didn't understand the frustration of having the dog laugh at you until a couple times. He's like, "I hate that dog. I want to shoot the dog." I'm like, "Buddy, we've been trying to shoot the dog now for 30 years."
Do you know that? If you want to talk about that, because that's really funny. The original verses of remember the VS machines that Nintendo had out? That was Mario was in the arcade. That's how they sold us the Nintendo, by the way. That was their genius marketing. But the original versus Duck Hunt, you could shoot the dog.
Really?
Yeah, look at it when you get a chance. Look it up. I got to save that for after the show. Anyway, so it was a Jersey joke, but I'll save it for what we're not talking about.
And then, ironically, my Nintendo stopped working after that. It stopped reading games.
No!
So, yep. So I had to order a new 72-pin connector. And actually, right before the podcast, I just installed it because my wife asked me. She goes, "When are you going to install that so we can play Duck Hunt?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll install it before the podcast." So slapped in the new 72-pin connector, and there's my son on the floor playing Mario and Ninja Turtles. And
Good luck with Ninja Turtles, buddy.
that's what I said. I said, "You only get 4 lives, 1 per turtle." And he's like, "Huh?" I'm like, yeah.
And you can't save it.
Well, when he played Mario, he's like, "Dad, I want to save it. I want to go do something else." And I just laughed at him. I said, "Save? There is no save.
There's no save.
You play from beginning to end, and you will hate it."
Yeah.
I mean,
Save costs you another $10.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
If you
With
want
the battery
save, you emulate. This
Yeah.
this is actual hardware with actual software made in the day when we were strong. God damn it,
Yeah.
we were made of sterner
I
stuff
remember pausing games
for like hours.
hours.
Yes.
You could go eat dinner or, leave.
Now, my friend and I, we did that once. We were playing Wizards and Warriors 2.
God,
And
it's great.
it is. And we paused it. And I forget. I don't know if we went to the movies or we went somewhere. We came back, and in all that time, I think we may have had it paused too long. The game was frozen. It wouldn't unpause. And we're like, son of a bitch.
You're Darth Vadering.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a friend of mine, that's how we beat Mario 3. He had his Nintendo at his grandmother's house in the basement. And right off the basement, they had sliding glass doors, and there was an in-ground pool. So we'd go in there, we'd play Mario 3 for maybe 2 hours, pause it, go swim for an hour or so, come back in, play another 2 hours, go swim, and then we beat that over the course of maybe a day and a half that way,
Yeah.
just having fun.
That reminds me of like we go fast forward in gaming a little bit, but like
Yeah.
when I played Final Fantasy VII the first time, and
Oh my
I was coming home from work
because you
played
guys
for
didn't
8
have a
hours.
memory card.
Yeah. Well, I had one of them.
I
Me
thought
and
you
my
and your brother
were like,
didn't. That's why you had it going for so long.
Yeah, no, we wanted to beat it. That's
Oh.
all it was. This was like pure wanting to get through it because it was so neat, you know. And I remember like I'd come home from work, play for like 7 hours, 8 hours, go to sleep, get up, go to work, and as soon as I would like go to work, my brother would pick it up
Nice.
and he would continue.
Well,
And then we'd spend 40 minutes each time going, what happened here, what happened here? And so, because you need something, you need key things as it goes along. But go ahead.
before the PlayStation 2 came out, the what the hell, Microplay down in Allentown.
Microplays, right?
They had import PS2s there for rent. And I remember me, you, and my ex went down, rented a PS2, and we got Tekken Tag Tournament. I think was it Street Fighter EX? I think we got
EX3.
EX3, and we brought it back to her house. We hooked it up, and we only had it for the weekend, but they didn't have any memory cards. So to beat everything in Tekken Tag Tournament, we literally left that poor little PlayStation running for like a day and a half straight.
You hear it. What? I hear that fan running.
It
in the
was not
background.
happy with us, but
So, let's see. This is because we have no topics, and this is really great. But I watched this. We're talking about old retro stuff and the Super FX chip. Funny enough, but there's this. You ever hear of Crix or Stone Age Gamer?
yeah, Stone Age game, yeah.
Gamer, right? So they have this cartridge for the Super Nintendo called the SD2 SNES. Yeah, that's right. Okay, the thing's like $100 and some. So that's automatically off-putting for me right there. But this thing, it's like a smart chip they put in it. It had a real technical name, but who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. This is like any ROM card. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You just put your SD card with all the ROMs in, fire it up, but this thing has a chip that'll emulate the Super FX chip inside of it.
Really?
So now you could, now it's like been upgraded, but this thing's even better because now you have all that space of an SD card.
Mm-hmm.
Now some of these games have CD quality audio now,
Ooh.
upgraded audio. Some of these games have video on your Super Nintendo.
Holy shit.
Yes. I was watching the video of the guy playing it, and he loads up A Link to the Past, and it's got cutscenes, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And there was like one of those like Dragon's Lair kind of games, but it wasn't that. There was another one called Road Avenger, and it's called Super Road Avenger, and it's all video. You remember how Dragon Warrior was?
Yeah.
Dragon Lair. You had to click here, hope you made it, died, start over, $30 later you beat the game. But that's how this Super Road Avenger was. It's all video. You just have to hit the right button at the right time, and it's on a Super Nintendo.
Holy shit.
I'll send you the video when we're done.
Yeah,
but
send that to me.
It's mind-boggling. The thing had come out a year ago, or maybe 8 months ago, whatever. The guy said in the video. The reviewer's a little was squirrely, so ignore him. But
Most of them are.
yeah, this guy's pretty on point, but he's just a little odd. Like, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, like when you see these video, you're like, that can't do that. Like I know it can't. But I'll say that. But that's really. But you know what it would mean if like I know I'm a semi purist when it comes to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think I would pay that kind of money for an emulator unless I was a person that like I traveled a lot. Like a Super Nintendo is small enough to throw in a bag
Yeah.
and take. You know what I mean? I mean, so is your RetroPie. You know what I mean, or your Raspberry Pi too. But I don't know. If I was doing that kind of yeah.
I always got a
Shop.
pie laying around.
Shop. Got another one. You haven't bought one in a month.
I actually haven't. I bought the B Plus when it came out, and that was it.
Yeah, that's oh man, that's so neat.
Now since you brought that up, and this is an interesting thing because I was going along with the conversation when I was listening to the podcast, and then something clicked in that tonight when I was working, I was listening to the CU podcast, and they were talking about the importance of cataloging and preserving the video game culture, preserving
Oh, yeah.
the games, the stories behind the games. Like still one of the biggest contentions is no one knows exactly when the original Super Mario Brothers was released. They have it nailed down to within a week of the original release, but no one knows for sure.
Can I ask you just a question before you go any further?
Sure.
Do we really need to know the exact date it was
No,
released?
but we're talking for an historical account of,
Oh,
of
okay,
video
all right.
gaming. And they were talking about, how collectors, like, I don't know if you know the immortal John Hancock.
Oh,
You
of
watch
course.
that he has over 12 complete collections, and it's all in box and everything, that he said he wants to build a museum one day because he's preserving all this, which brought up an interesting thing. So a lot of games are going digital now, They're going digital downloads. So the next stage of evolution for gaming with all these indie titles is it's all going to be on a digital format, which is going to be an SD card, a disc, or something like that. But what's that? Okay, you're muted, buddy.
Oh, I am. Oh, holy shit.
Oh, there
I
you
was
go.
hit with my arm. All right.
Okay.
Like the Switch cartridge.
That was my point. That's what I thought about. Okay, so the Switch cartridge. I just got, for Father's Day, I got Mario Kart 8.
God, isn't that game great?
It is. It is fantastic. Now, which version gets archived? Do you archive the digital version, or do you archive the card? Or
Well, remember-
should you archive both? Because it comes
Well,
in
how much
two different
difference is it?
formats.
Well, how much? Is there much difference in the content?
No, but it was released in two different formats.
I would say you do the digital one. It's already essentially archived already.
I'm just curious because if you go back in PC gaming, up until really about 10 years ago, most games still came on a DVD disc. And then when Steam came around, I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually bought a physical game for a computer. Everything is downloadable. They don't make really DVD releases anymore for games.
No.
But
And then it's like a special edition if they do that.
exactly.
Shit,
But in this case, the Switch has both. So does the PS4. So does the Xbox One. That which one would you preserve, or would you have to preserve both? It would be very similar to the Nintendo, where you had the Mario Duck Hunt, but you also had just Mario. Same Mario, two different releases.
Well, yeah, you had Mario Duck Hunt, and Mario Duck Hunt and Track and Field.
Yeah.
They were all on the same cartridge.
Same games, different type of releases, though. That
Yeah.
it just like my mind just kind of blew up because I thought about the Switch instantly because I like the cartridges for the Switch because I don't have to worry about running out of memory or anything else like that. You could just slap it in and it takes up a couple megabytes for your save files. That for these games that are being released physically and digitally at the same time from these these major AAA studios, it just, at what point do you have to pick one version and say, okay, for the current generation, whatever generation we're in now, probably what generation, like 7 of
It's the
video
eighth
gaming?
generation of consoles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
8th generation. We're just going to archive all digital. There are going to be no physical copies in this archive. 'Cause you have to cut the line at a certain point. You can't
I don't-
archive both. You have to pick one format over another.
I don't know, because you know what, when you say this about the digital releases and and stuff like that, I think about companies that were doing like what's the name of that company? I can't remember. The ones that were doing Night Trap. The ones that the guys did the re-release of Night Trap. They did it for the PS4 and the Xbox. The limited run games. That's the name of the company. Limited run.
Yeah.
And they did like the re-release of Night Trap, and they're the ones releasing the Sega Saturn cases. I think we went over that, or was it the Sega CD cases or whatever, the big jewel cases?
I think they did Shovel Knight too, didn't they? They did a limited release.
Yeah, they did a limited
with
release.
the soundtrack and everything.
But they did a physical release.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, because it came with a soundtrack. Because Norm, the video game historian, got one of those and showed it.
God, I love that show. His videos are a little long though.
They're getting a little weird.
Yeah. Anyway, but you see stuff like that, and that's coming out for the Switch too. Is Night Trap? That's kind of funny, because that's like an adult game, But then again, the Switch. I don't think the Switch is really geared towards any specific age.
No, it's really not.
Because you got Doom and Wolfenstein on there, but then you got Mario Party, or Mario Kart or whatever.
I think they're finally coming to the fact that our generation, that came of age with the Nintendo, the Nintendo Entertainment System. We're not going to hang around for Nintendo if we're still playing the same kiddie games that we were
Yeah.
back in the mid to late 80s. That we've grown up, our games have grown up, that we want some better content on there.
Yeah. But in terms of what we should archive, I think at all times we should archive physical media, whatever is available.
That's what my feeling is.
Some games will never be released on physical media.
Right.
Digital release is cheaper. It really is,
Well, just in consoles, I think I read somewhere that like 30% of the games coming out this year are all digital.
Yeah.
And on the PC, I mean that's close to like 95% now. Almost
Yeah.
nothing comes out physical for PC.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Ever having to send away for full versions, that's how far back I go,
But it was
You
just
want that full version of Heretic? Give me a call at 1-800,
Or did you get this game out of context? 1-800-PIRATE.
Yeah. Don't be called that number.
No.
No.
Don't copy that floppy.
Nope.
But I just brought up an interesting point that there was one other interesting point which, for us, the 40-somethings, just it made us laugh. That Ian on the CU podcast, he runs a gaming store called Luna Gaming, and a guy came into his store, and he goes, "Do you guys fix systems?" And he's like, "Yeah, we fix systems. What's wrong?" And he pulls out a switch, and he goes, "My R button is sticking. It doesn't seem to work anymore." And he plays the Switch exclusively in handheld mode. And it said it actually took him a minute until reality slapped him in the face, and he goes, "Instead of fixing this," and he just took off the Joy-Con and went, "Buy another Joy-Con."
Jesus.
But he said he never thinks about it because he plays his Switch exclusively in handheld mode. He goes, he forgets that people play it in console
TV.
mode.
Yeah,
Yeah, where
on their
the
TV.
Joy-Cons aren't on there. That for him for a second it was, "Oh God, how do I fix this?" And then he's like, "Wait, that's detachable. You can buy a new one." And he said the kid, like his mind blew that he thinks he might have been the same way, that he's just used to it as a handheld. He's not thinking of it as three separate pieces.
God.
But I find that fascinating that
I see common sense isn't taught too much these days.
No, but I think of it great that the Switch has really blurred that line between console and
I
portable.
agree. When is the Switch going to start having fucking Game Boy games on it?
Well, their online service starts in October,
Yeah.
so
Oh, I'm happy you said October. I'll get to that in a sec. But I want to see some like 3DS or some DS games or some maybe Game Boy Advance games on there, because that thing would be awesome for that.
And what I didn't know until, and I'm sorry I keep bringing up the CU podcast, but I listened to it while I was at work tonight, that some games, it's Donkey Kong, and there's one other game on there right now that actually supports it. That when you play the arcade emulator of Donkey Kong that you can get off the Switch Online store, you could actually take the Switch, rotate it 90 degrees, and actually get the original vertical screen.
Yeah, you get the aspect ratio
Yeah.
of the original game.
I didn't know that. I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, but you see what else they're doing? It's like, did you see the thing for Super Mario Party? The trailer for that?
Yeah.
Where you could connect two Switches together and
No.
play like.
Yeah.
I'm like,
no.
I said, well, that's really neat. Don't get me wrong. That's like a really cool concept. But it's like, I know one other person on the planet Earth that owns a Switch. I'm sure there's a lot of people that do.
Well, I know
obviously.
one other person. I'm staring at him right now.
Yeah, it's exactly where I am. My kids never play the Switch on the TV. I always do, because I'm just a console gamer. Like I'd rather play it on my TV. And I'm the type. I'll play Breath of the Wild or whatever. But Megan plays that Splatoon all over the house.
Yeah.
Up in her bedroom, down here like till 2:00 in the morning because they have those Splat Fests or whatever. It goes on and on. But anyway, who's got time to hook up two? This is like us hooking up the two PlayStations to play
Yeah.
two.
Two
what I mean? Like,
PlayStations,
that's
two
a lot
TVs,
of
two
work.
games.
Yeah.
Plus
That's
now,
a lot of goddamn work.
plus now you're thinking, okay, to play this mode, technically you need $600 worth of hardware to play
And,
this
like
mode.
6 people.
Oh. Which, speaking of the Switch, I do have to say thank you because I saw the video and then you gave me your endorsement of it. I got one of those $25 dongles.
Well, aren't they great?
Oh my god!
That's what I do. I hook up when I'm playing Breath of the Wild,
Yeah.
or I'm playing Mario Kart, of course. Because you know what, the Joy Cons are nice, but I got like big bulky guy hands.
Mm-hmm.
They're not made for me. They're, the girls outside of Kelly, of course, Kelly could use it because she's got a lot more dexterity than I do. But like PS4 controller all the way, hook it right up, bang bang, done, 2 minutes.
And I hooked up one of the Wii U Pros that we have, and for Mario Kart, pretty much. And because of that, we have the 2 Joy Cons. I've lost track of how many PS3 controllers we have. That we could hook all that up, and we can get, easily the 3-player Mario Party going between me, my son, and my wife. And once my daughter wants to figure out how to do it and run into walls, then
that's what happens when Kate plays.
Yeah.
Like we play it. We'll play where 4 people. Everybody gets to pick a track, no matter how shitty it is or how hard it is. Like nobody picks that fucking Rainbow Road. Nobody
Jack
does
loves
it.
Rainbow Road.
I can't stand it. Like the Super Nintendo one, I will play that one, but the one made for Mario Party, fuck that track. But, we'll all choose a track, and I like the Legend of Zelda track. I think that's really cool.
I haven't been through. He only allowed me to play the first 3 circuits, and out of those, I'd probably say the Haunted Mansion.
Understand, you're the parent, right?
I understand I'm the parent, but here's the thing: he always has the Switch on him, and I have this weird thing called work still. That I'm not always like. I got so excited when I hooked up the Wii U Pro controller with that dongle. I'm like, oh, finally, I have a proper controller to play Doom, and then that's as far as it got. Then my wife, 2 weeks ago, she took the 2 kids down to her mom's for a few days. I'm like, yes, I could play some Doom, and there's my son packing up the Switch to take with him. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I'll kill you. I made you.
So,
yeah. Crap. I had something else in my head. Oh, October. You said October. You know what comes out in October?
What?
Season 2 of Castlevania on Netflix.
Oh, it's about time!
About time. Better be more than 4 fucking episodes.
I was just going to say, jeez. Now, there were 4 quality episodes.
Oh, they were.
But I want more. Give me like at least 6 or 8 episodes.
I want 10. I want 10 really good episodes.
And they left you hanging. Oh, when you finally find Alucard, and then it's like, peace out.
You think this was going to continue? Fuck.
Yeah.
That's exactly what they did. That's the end of the show, But yeah, I saw that on a trailer today. Not a trailer, but I saw that in an article.
Yeah.
That's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Oh. So violent, so brutal. God, life's good. I think it's about time I did my yearly playthrough of Symphony of the Night. I'm coming up on that.
Nice.
I haven't. Yeah, I'm about due for that. I'm also about 5 days away from reminding you that you still have yet to beat Portrait of Ruin.
Are you kidding?
I have it on my calendar to remind you once a year, and it's coming up.
I bought. It's been so long, I don't even remember. Was it Blood Tears, Blood Rain? The new Castlevania that's not Castlevania.
Oh, Bloodstains.
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 Yeah, I got to play that for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then my son goes, "Can I try?" And yeah, I'm still waiting.
Yeah. That game is surprisingly good. It's got a lot of neat ways to beat it.
So,
like when you meet the characters in the game, you could take them with you, you could ignore them, or even better, you could kill them and take their abilities.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't know that at first, and then I watched this reviewer called Some Call Me Johnny. Surprisingly enough, it's on YouTube.
I won't burst into song.
Yeah. No, don't you dare.
Oh yeah. Who's Johnny?
Shit.
He said.
No, I don't think he's ever made that
other
joke.
way. Who's Johnny?
I've been watching him for a long time.
I actually downloaded that movie for my son and I to watch this summer. And come hell or high water, we are watching Short Circuit.
The first one is really good.
Yes. The second one's cheesy.
The second one's like, it's a cash grab. We're going to give it a shot, though, guys.
But I want to watch that and The Last Starfighter.
We needed Alex Sheedy, is what we really needed. That might have redeemed it a little.
For me, he's 8 years old. He should at least watch Short Circuit and Last Starfighter Back to the Future, and at least one of the Indiana Joneses.
Oh, you have to. He has to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark.
So,
I tried to sit the kids down about 2 weeks ago to have them watch. Now, Megan had watched Raiders of the Lost Ark when she was about 6 with me.
Mhm.
That's 7 years ago. You're not going to remember that.
and see, I will freely admit, Raiders is hard on a little kid, where Temple of Doom is vastly inferior, but it holds kids' attention more.
I think, first off, I think Raiders is less gory than Temple of Doom.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
more
there's a lot
adult. There's more adult themes. I don't want to say adult themes. It's written more towards an adult than
Sure.
Temple was. Temple was the cash grab. Let's get the kids and sell the action figures.
I don't know. I don't know if I prescribe to that one. I think Temple of Doom was like Spielberg and Lucas were like, how weird can we make this? Let's make a room full of bugs. Let's see if people buy that one. You know?
No. That was the one we do not talk about.
No. Remember
That was no. I'm talking about the Indiana Jones movie. We don't talk about.
Oh, you mean Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
We don't talk about that one. But that's the one Lucas and Spielberg got together and go, how can we really fuck this up?
Yeah. I wonder if anybody would notice if I put flying monkeys in this. You know?
Seriously.
Or Shia LaBeouf. Anybody notice?
How
that
about
he's
we
in
have this clear skull that talks to you and makes you insane, except if you're Indiana Jones?
it? Or how about? Oh yeah. Nuke the fridge.
Yeah.
Nuke the fridge. Don't get me wrong.
No,
we're
it
not
was
talking
horrible.
about
No, there's no redemption. As Adam Savage says, I like the Indiana Jones movie. And when people say which one, he goes, there's only one Indiana Jones movie, and I love the Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah. Said it many times. Raiders of the Lost Ark can stand by itself forever.
It will, yes.
It will. You know. Although The Last Crusade is really good.
The Last Crusade is fantastic,
It-
but it's still...
It's not Raiders good.
You could see...
That's a family-friendly version.
It is, but you could see how they went commercially. Raiders of the Lost Ark was not a commercial movie. It was made to be itself. It was kind of like the Alan Quartermains. I mean, it was made for people who want to watch that movie. It wasn't... They weren't going after the summer blockbuster. Temple of Doom, Raiders of the Lost Ark, they're summer popcorn movies. They were made specifically for
Temple
that.
of Doom was like... It was like the, I remember seeing it for the first time because I saw The Last Crusade was the only, it was the oldest Indiana Jones I saw in the theater.
Yes.
I remember my whole family and I went to it. And my dad was like, nobody's getting up to pee.
Yeah.
I remember my dad specifically said that to me. If you got to pee, piss in the seat.
And I will say one thing. The best part, at least when we saw it, of seeing Last Crusade in the theater, was you got the trailer for Back to the Future 3 right before it.
Yes.
That was awesome.
I saw that at the West Side Mall. I mean, not the West Side movie theater. Back to the Future 3, anyway. But I remember we were all there and we saw it, and I remember that was like the original one I had seen in the theater, and I had seen the other two before that, but I realized that like Last Crusade had a hard impact on like movies and culture. I think a little bit. That was the first thing I remember, like. When you bought the VHS tape for Last Crusade, like there were like fucking Pepsi ads before,
Yes.
on VHS and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like that's where you knew, like, they'll blur the lines between media and stuff like that. And products, I guess you could say. It's not like this Truman Show,
And later on, when you grow up and you start finding out like how movies work, because as you're a kid, movies are magic. You don't know how they're made.
In some respects, they still are.
But when you grow up and you find out that Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford are only 8 years apart in age, it kind of gives Last Crusade a little, wait a minute here.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah. But I used to saw Temple of Doom on the summer HBO package where they just keep playing the same movies over and over. Raiders or Temple of Doom played at least once a day during the summer on HBO.
And the girl in Temple of Doom.
Oh,
the girl in the original Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Karen Allen.
Still, I always thought she looked good. In that movie, anyway.
In that movie.
Yeah, in the one that shall not be spoken about,
yeah.
Time caught up to her. But then again, it caught up to me and you, too, so. Who is it?
And
But
then
the girl in the second one, that was like Spielberg's or Lucas's wife.
well, she became his wife. That's Kate Capshaw.
Yeah.
They actually met on set, and when he directed her, and they got
Well, he
married.
directed her.
Oh, he did.
Anyway, but
The best
Yeah,
thing
sure.
is you didn't realize it till later was the opening number was in Club Obi-Wan.
oh yeah, there's a lot of Star Wars references in the.
Oh, yeah.
You got to look for them,
Yeah.
or basically have a video on YouTube tell you where they are. Like I didn't learn. I remember reading an article in a magazine like in the '90s about how R2D2 and C3PO are
on the wall in Raiders, yeah.
The Raiders, yeah. But I was, it's funny. This is what I wanted to ask you. This was actually a question I wanted to bring up. Is
Yeah.
like, what scene in a film, me and you have seen fucking millions of films. in
Oh,
our
at
lives.
least, yeah.
What scene in a film has that impact where you realize like this is probably one of the greatest films of all time? And I know mine. Let me go over mine.
Okay.
And you take your time.
Yeah.
Because I watch this scene all the time. It's from Raiders of the Lost Ark, and it's when he is in the map room,
Mm-hmm.
and he's the thing,
The Eye of Ra.
the staff.
The Staff of Ra.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to get it wrong. We don't want geek hate mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit's terrible. And he puts it in the thing, and there's no spoken words in this scene. And he's just there, and the sun comes through and hits that spot, and it's beautiful. And it's nearly one of the most memorable scenes in the film, besides them lifting the ark out. I think that's the other one. But that's where I remember seeing in that film and going, this film is fucking amazing. And I was like 9, This film is amazing. But, that's the scene that I can always think about that film and say, that's the scene I'll remember from it forever.
Now, are we just talking about Raiders, or are we talking about the first time you got...
Yeah.
Okay. I'd say the first time I ever got that feeling in any movie was the original Back to the Future. The whole scene at the end with Doc trying to connect the cable to get Marty to go home with the lightning. And, I mean, the music is going. I mean, everything's going wrong for Doc. And at that last moment, as the lightning strikes, he puts the cable together. Marty's face goes back and he closes his eyes and bam,
God.
85.
Yeah, that's a fantastic one too.
Yeah.
That's one of the most memorable scenes in that film. Doc should have died, but whatever.
Probably the next time I felt that, honestly, was fast forwarding to 1999, seeing the very first scene with Trinity in The Matrix.
Oh,
When they do
God.
the bullet time, and you knew you just entered something you've never seen before.
I didn't get to see The Matrix in the theaters.
Oh, dude, I saw it like 3 times in the theaters.
Well, you know what? Like, I didn't get to see it in the theaters, and I remember being at my my in-laws' house at the time, and my brother-in-law turns to me, he goes, "You ever see this?" And somebody had lent it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it was a DVD. It had to be a DVD. It was '99. And I said, no. I said, man, I don't think I've ever even heard of it. And so we sit down and watch it, and we're like you said, you're about 5 minutes into it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I told him, I said, right after that scene, the part where she jumps through off the roof and into the window,
Yeah.
that same scene, that's a mind blower too.
But when she does that first kick, and they do the bullet time where they just go right around her as she's in midair, and you hear that music, that sound effect goes like,
yeah, the slowdown.
yeah, and it's just like,
which has been over cliched in films.
oh
since.
god, yeah. But that was the next moment, probably after the Back to the Future, where I just stopped, jaw hung open in the theater, going, "This is some next level shit we're about to see."
Yes, and that's you'll always associate that with quality filmmaking.
Yes.
At that point, I mean, even though it was like those guys, the Wachowski brothers,
Mm-hmm.
you
Wachowski.
still want to Wachowski.
Well, they're
you
not
still wanna
brothers
call them
anymore. We
that.
just call them Wachowskis now.
Wachowskis. They were, they were pioneering that shit.
Yes.
Yeah, and now it's overused everywhere. Every film fucking has it.
And I could say the last time I got that feeling in a movie, which was not too far after that, was Fellowship of the Ring. After they formed the Fellowship, that first time all of them crest that hill, and you know the scene I'm talking about, where the full entire theme just comes and plays, and you see everyone walk by, and that was the last time I got that feeling in any movie, like, this is going to be an adventure. This is going to get fun.
I think in that same film, one of the most impactful scenes of the film, because you realize the true dread that they're about to face,
Mm-hmm.
and they're in that, they're all getting together in that, basically the beginning of the film, and Gimli tries to cut the ring in half.
Oh yeah.
Fucking axe explodes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, yeah, this is about to be some good shit
Yeah.
right here, And I remember my dad who wanted to go see it because my dad had read the book. I never read the Lord of the Rings. Like
I haven't
was
either.
never any-
I've-
either.
I've tried to read it probably 6 or 7 times, and I can't get past like the first chapter and a half. For those of you who read it, I can't get past Tom Bombadil. Why? Because my brain isn't wired to read Tolkien. The way he writes, my brain just can't process it because every name is the same name with just like letters switched.
Yeah.
Even after I saw the Fellowship
3
of
or
the
4
Ring.
different fucking consonants,
Well, after I saw the Fellowship of the Ring, I was even talking to my girlfriend. I'm like, okay, so there was Sauron and Saruman. Which one was which?
Yeah.
I kept getting them confused. I'm like, that's just not right. And then Bilbo at the beginning where he goes on off all the names of everybody in Hobbiton, and it's like, holy shit.
Another impactful film, I think, definitely within my years, and I'd hate to use this. This is pretty cliche because it's another time travel related film. Is Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure? I know that movie's fucking weird, and
It's still good.
it's still really good. But that's the scene in the beginning where they're creating the time machine.
Oh yeah.
That scene is still like I'll
Wait,
just
no,
watch
not in
that
the
part.
beginning. They weren't
That's
making
what-
the time machine in the beginning.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was-
you mean when the
that's-
pillar comes down?
The pillar comes down.
Oh, and it
those,
all opens up and
the
everything.
magic guys. where-
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
they create the phone booth,
Yeah.
and obviously George Carlin is in it. That's George Carlin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was making sure. For some reason, I thought it was somebody else for a second. George Carlin's in that scene playing Rufus, but which is really an odd role for him.
Remember, he was Mr. Conductor.
I know, I understand that. When he brings that up, he used to bring that up in his
Oh,
own,
he used to, yeah.
his own shit. Remember, you're talking to Mr. Conductor here, guys.
That's when he went off his whole thing. Your kids aren't fucking special. And at the end, he's like, remember, you're talking, and he gives the finger to Mr. Conductor.
God Almighty, what a legend.
But yeah, there haven't been that many movies that I know that it's kind of a game changer. And I kind of say that because there really shouldn't be that many. If every movie changes your world perception, then either A, you're very gullible, or 2, you're not watching the right movies.
No.
Because if you watch the correct movies, the impactful ones, the groundbreaking ones, every other movie builds off of those once you see the original.
Yeah.
You got to watch the first movie that does bullet time. The like you said, the first movie that does the whole Indiana Jones thing, that you gotta go back to the well and see where it comes from. Where okay, like Bill and Ted. Oh, I love time travel movies. That was the best time travel movie. Well, have you seen Back to the Future? Well, no. Have you seen Time Bandits? Well, no. I mean, you can name all the time travel movies. Unless you've seen others for reference, you can't say, okay, that's
This
the best
is the greatest one of all time.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
It's like if you saw Highlander 2 and went, this is the best Highlander movie ever.
Yeah. I would throttle you with my own 2 hands. until you
Exactly.
turned 3 shades of blue. Holy Jesus. That should have been written out of existence.
And then there are the guilty pleasure movies that we always have.
We can talk about Back to the Future for a second. Like, their perception of the future.
Oh, and Back to the Future 2?
Yeah, their perception of what 2015 would look like, which was, nearly totally wrong.
Yeah.
The only thing I want for Back to the Future 2, not a flying car. I don't want a fax machine on my wall, which is pretty funny. Because fax machines were like just a thing at the time, and then everybody had one in every room in the house, or you know what I mean. The dog that walks itself, the thing that walks the dog,
nice.
I would love that. But you know what I want? I want that Pizza Hut thing.
Oh, the hydrator.
That hydrates the pizza.
Yeah.
That's the only technological thing from that film I would take home.
Although I will say they did get one thing right. At the
That.
dinner table, all the kids had the little glasses down watching their TV. And
Oh,
today we
yeah.
have that. They're just called phones where everyone's at the table.
You're
And
right.
you
You're
can't
right.
see
There
them.
I guess there was a thing too for that, from that,
I don't know. I'm
era
kind of
that-
disappointed the double tie never came into fashion.
Yeah. Thank God for small favors. But Doctor Who's coming back soon, Trev.
I'm actually interested in this one. I like Jodie. I want to say Watley, but I'm not sure if that's right. She was in all 3 seasons of Broadchurch, and she was fantastic in Broadchurch. And since Stephen Moffat left, the showrunner for Broadchurch actually has taken over Doctor Who. So Broadchurch is an amazing series. We have the showrunner now for Doctor Who. She was is an amazing actress that I actually think the wife and I are going to jump back into Doctor Who for this. I'm sorry. Now, I will freely admit, I gave Matt Smith every chance. I watched almost every Matt Smith episode, tolerated him. I couldn't get through one episode of Capaldi.
Oh man, his shit was so good.
And then I kept seeing things.
They're all a victim of writing.
But
They really are.
But there was the Christmas episode.
Which one? Because there was like 3 of them.
The last one where they brought back the original Doctor.
Oh, okay. I like that episode.
And I mean, there was I know I kind of followed the storyline with Capaldi mostly because of you, but here or there on the internet, the fact that they got rid of the sonic screwdriver for a while and had sonic sunglasses, it was just.
Well, like all the doctors didn't have a sonic screwdriver. Like that was because I that was one of the arguments I had with Kelly about it. I'm like, it's like he needs the.
Yeah,
he needs that. You know what I mean? But like I think with. My personal thing about the doctors I would never got into Doctor Who without you. I will fully say that now. I owe you that one because it's one of my favorite things to watch. But every doctor has their take on the personality of the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like Matt Smith's he's a very lighthearted actor.
Matt Smith's was good at the beginning. I hated Matt Smith. He played it too boyish, but then he turned dark toward the end there, and
He did.
And I enjoyed that he finally matured and he realized like this isn't a game anymore.
Yeah.
And that was nice to see that because when he was playing that like for that first season, just I'm the boy who knows nothing with the big hair. I'm like, this is so stupid to watch. I could not stand that.
Honestly, I would say that of all the episodes that Matt Smith did, like the best episode he did was his very first one, the 11th Hour. That was the best shit that he did.
Because you're, see, no. If you're talking, and this is going to sound completely jaded, but if you're talking just Matt Smith, writing, forget about the writing because there's a huge loophole. His best acting was the very last scene in his Christmas episode where he regenerates.
Oh no, I can't take anything away from
I
that.
even got a little teary-eyed when he dropped the bow tie, and out of nowhere,
Here comes Amy Pond.
Amy Pond just comes and he's like holding her face, but she's not really there. And
Yeah.
Clara's
He's
like, "What are you
hallucinating,
doing?" And it's just that.
No, that's a really great scene.
Yeah.
And when Capaldi regenerated, because for some reason I watch those when I just need fill 3 or 4 minutes of my day up, sheer boredom, I guess. But when Capaldi did his like into the new lady Jodie named person, I don't know.
I'm gonna look that up. So go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm looking that up.
But when he regenerated, it was like. First off, is she Scottish?
I don't believe so, but I will tell you in a second.
But like when he had this long like single speech by himself. He walked around. He's essentially talking to the next version of the Doctor. For them to remember. It's like a really great scene.
Okay, I'm going to interrupt you. Her name is Jodie Whittaker.
I got it right.
And she was actually born in West Yorkshire, UK. So she's English. Yorkshire, sorry.
Did you just get schooled by your wife?
I did. This is what happens when you have an English history minor in your house.
This is what happened if somebody did it to me.
And she's only an inch taller than I am.
Yikes.
I know.
I think that, like, just like David Tennant and Matt Smith and even Peter Capaldi, they were a victim of their writing. It wasn't, you cannot ever have, like, great episodes.
I will agree with you there because I always thought Stephen Moffat's writing was just oddball. Russell T. Davies, I thought his writing was brilliant.
Well,
And-
I agree, but, sorry, I had to fix something there.
No. Russell T. Davies tend to go for the gimmick, where Stephen Moffat tend to go to the gimmick, where Russell T. Davies went for like a lore. Because if you remember, during the Tennant time, that's when Russell T. Davies pretty much wrote everything. We introduced the face of Bo. 2 seasons later, you find out who the face of Bo is.
Sure.
That he keeps a circular storyline going, which is pretty nice.
I think they all owe Russell T. Davis a lot because
He brought it back.
yeah, obviously. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, they had to sell it with Christopher Eccleston, you know? They had to really try
That was a
hard.
tough sell.
Some of his episodes are actually really good.
No,
Other
some
ones
of them are good, but the first 1 or 2 were kind of... That first one was really... You gotta admit, it was really cheesy with the mannequins coming to life.
Yeah, or how about the gas creatures or whatever they were in the second episodes, the ones that were like coming alive in the lights? That was a little tough to chew. They kept reusing those mannequins for quite a few seasons.
Yeah.
That was always.
Although my favorite's still the killer Christmas trees. They start spinning.
spinning shit at people and the doors open. Like,
I still love those.
yeah. Yeah, like I said, they are all a victim of writing. Like Tenet didn't have all like awesome episodes.
No, he didn't.
A lot of his were like Blink. That's a really great episode, and of course the one you love, The Family of Blood. I know you love that episode.
Family Blood. It's so sad.
It is.
Not as sad as his last episode. Man, there's never a dry eye in this house when that last episode airs. When he goes back, he knows he's dying, and he goes back and revisits all the companions.
Well, that's because Russell T. Davis was leaving too at the same time.
But it was a big goodbye to everyone.
What it was like, you know, I always took that as that Moffat didn't want to use these characters.
Yeah.
You know, this great universe that Tennant's era had built up. You know what I mean? Like, I cannot understand why like Captain Jack Harkness has not been in more episodes of Doctor Who. I understand he had his own show after that.
I honestly don't know what happened to him after that. I watched half of the first season of Torchwood, and I just never got back to it.
I couldn't get past one episode of Torchwood.
Really?
It was boring to me. Yeah, it was a really darker version of that universe.
It was more industrial. I always because they're underground and it's just
You know, and you had that great send-off with Tennant, and then it goes into the Matt Smith years, and basically the first couple episodes is him basically apologizing for Amelia Pond for never picking her up when she was 6, or whatever it was. You know, the first couple episodes of that. You know, but they like consistently they brought back his wife. What the hell's her name? Alex Kingston's character.
wow, we are failing right now.
I really want to ask my wife.
River
Song.
Song.
All of the doctors had time with her, except for actually Christopher Eccleston didn't because they hadn't written that character yet.
And then it really fucks with your mind when you realize it's Amy Pond's daughter. And
Yes.
You're like, whoa.
But through Peter Capaldi's run, you see the end of her story.
Well, no, you saw the end of her story in the library.
Silence in the library.
Yeah.
But you see where it comes full circle
Okay.
in Capaldi's episodes.
Oh, because when we first meet River Song,
She's
that's
at
the end of her
road.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the end of her story.
Yeah.
But you'll see how it comes full circle in Capaldi's episodes. Like, she's only in it once, and it's that one episode that she's in. Damn, she's good looking.
Wouldn't have anything to do with her hair color, would it?
Well, I'd say from the neck down looks pretty good too. No, that has nothing to do with it. Yeah, but you gotta watch Capaldi's episodes. He's really like, give it a chance.
Maybe I'll give it a shot because I did.
I at least watched the season where you have to watch his last season, and this won't Yeah, we'll blow for you. I can't say what happens
Okay.
with him.
But I will say this. I did give Matt Smith, I wrote off. And then you told me years ago, give it another shot.
Yeah.
And I did. And I watched the majority of his episodes. And toward the end, I actually really enjoyed it. I really did.
You know,
So, like that
And-
the Christmas special where he meets Clara. And he's just ready to give up on everything. And she gives him new life. And then he realizes that she's been, well, he doesn't realize it till later, but that she's been following him his entire life, you know.
his lives.
Lives,
You know.
yeah.
You see the 50th anniversary, right?
Dude, I saw it in the theater.
That's right. Okay, I at least want to see.
3D.
I want to figure out kind of where you were at there.
Well, the best thing was I saw it in the theater because it aired. It was in the theater after it aired, so I missed the airing on purpose. Went and saw it in the theater. When I came home, while we were in the theater, iTunes had it available. So I came home, bought it, downloaded it, and watched it again within an hour of coming home from the theater.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, technology's good.
Yeah, isn't it great? I remember streaming it on the. I don't know what I streamed it on back in that time.
And then I'm the asshole who also bought the Blu-ray version because back then I had to have a hard copy of everything, and now
Yeah.
I don't
Given up on that, have you?
I have actually.
Huh?
So
Have you?
I have.
Wow.
The last disc I bought was The Force Awakens, only because I wanted the behind-the-scenes stuff. I said I was going to buy Last of the Jedi, but I never did because I didn't care.
No, I don't.
So,
Fuck that movie.
but that's the last movie disc I physically bought was that. And that's
I can't remember the last movie I actually bought. It's been a long time.
digital. Yes, I've bought digital movies.
Oh yeah, no, I've
But
done that.
physical copy, yeah. Last, The Force Awakens was the last physical copy of the movie I watched. Yes, buddy.
My first page.
Nice. My son's writing a Captain Underpants book. Here, we'll show everybody who has the video.
That's the front of it.
That's his front, and then he's creating a whole
Storyboard.
series. Which
Very
is a
nice.
side note, if you like Captain Underpants and have kids that like Captain Underpants, Friday the 13th, no correlation there, Netflix is launching their new original series of was it The Misadventures of Captain Underpants? Something like that. He left already.
Yeah, because he doesn't actually care.
No, he doesn't. But yeah, I
Yeah.
am going to get back into Doctor Who for this new Doctor.
Yeah.
That we're kind of
I
looking
can
forward
say, like, a lot of the story from when Matt Smith kind of runs his course
to. Mhm.
to near the end of Capaldi's run, that curve, that story becomes like gets to an end.
Mhm.
And one of my favorite characters comes up near the end of it, which is Lord President Russillian. You know, that asshole that runs the Gallifrey High Council. That guy
Oh, yeah.
comes back. Remember who was it? The one James Bond guy, Timothy Dalton played him.
Yeah.
Yeah, played him for 45 minutes. He must have had a TV to pay off or something to do that.
That's bad. That's horrible.
But and that character comes back again, and like, there's a scene in it, and this will definitely not blow anything for you, but how little. I don't want to say that, like, the Time Lords, like, they do value life, because at least the Doctor does,
Mm-hmm.
But he also knows that, like, if he shoots one of his own, they're going to live.
Yeah.
And there's a great scene where he turns to one of them and goes, "How many regenerations have you had?" And you
Yeah.
know what's happening within the
Yeah.
next minute. And it does, and it's fantastic. And, but, yeah, you got to watch it, man. You got to watch the last chunk. There's this episode with Capaldi where he is the only one in the episode.
Really?
And he's the only one to say anything. And that's where he. No, I don't. That's not good. That doesn't really screw the story up either. His first companion's a little rough to watch too, by the way, Bill. That's a little tough. But there's the episode where he's in this one episode alone is like you understand how long he could really live.
Okay.
It's wild how long, like, the Time Lords could live before they have to. Well, he didn't even do that. Yeah, yeah. If I could go through it, I'll find choice episodes that you should watch. But I would say if you have the time or the means, obviously, which you do. Thanks, Cody. Uh,
Well, that's all on Netflix now.
no, it's not.
Doctor Who's on Netflix.
Doctor Who hasn't been on Netflix in a while.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
it
on
used to
Amazon.
be.
It used to be. I think it was on. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Hmm.
Looking that up, are you?
Yeah, I thought it was on Netflix.
It was, and I think they lost the deal with it. There's none of that BBC shit's on there anymore.
But you know, we always have ways.
Yes.
There's always ways.
Always another way. Isn't that
Doctor
from the Matrix?
Who?
Anyway.
Let's see. Searching Netflix right now. Oh, it's slow because I took myself off the network. I'm on LTE. No, you are correct. There is no Doctor Who.
Check your Amazon Prime Video. I think it's on there.
Let's see. Amazon Video.
What is it? Season? I don't know what Capaldi's years are.
Oh, God.
Is that series, not season?
Yeah. Doctor Who. Let's see. Search results. Yes, it is on there. Season 10 was his latest season. That was from 2017. Then he had... So Capaldi was season 8 on. So 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all on there for Prime.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I might have to check that out.
I don't. Yeah. Yeah. It's really. Yeah. I like Capaldi because he was miserable most of the episodes. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. You see where the Doctor. You know, you could even see it in the 50th anniversary where he had grown like weary of help everybody in the universe. You know, he wanted to hang it up. You know.
Well, one of the best Tenet moments was Waters of Mars.
Oh, that episode's fantastic.
That he starts off light and jovial, and man, at the end he goes dark.
Yeah,
I mean,
fucking way off the reservation.
yeah.
The end of that sucks. The end of that episode.
It did, but she wanted to prove that he can't be master of the universe. That's why she took her own life.
Yeah.
And then you see the Ood there, and then you know this is the end.
Yeah. Show's over, buddy.
Yep.
But
he got dark right at that end of that show. It was like, wow.
It's good.
It was good.
I think really in the Doctor Who run, I think the show got dark when they did introduce the Weeping Angels. I think that's where the show got dark.
Really?
I really did. I think they were like, they don't bother me, but I know a lot of people who watch Doctor Who that are truly creeped out by them.
I think they're fascinating. I'm not creeped out by any chance. I will admit, the Angels Take New York is one of the saddest episodes.
Oh, it is.
I mean, that's just a sad
to see her go.
Both of them.
Well,
she left because of him.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, that was just a sad episode.
Well, we gushed on Doctor Who for like 15 minutes. That's
Seriously.
pretty good.
There was something else I was going to say before we dropped Doctor Who. And, the Capaldi years.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't have to give me any spoilers. Is the female Master better than the Master from the Tenet years with Matt Sims?
By far.
Okay. I hated Matt Sims as the Master. He was just...
I liked his... I didn't like the second half of that. Like, when he first came on...
And then he did the alternate timeline when he was president.
Yeah,
and that was fun. But when he came...
He started eating people.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, what are we doing here?
And then at the end there, he came back and he's like all energy and shit like that. And it was like, no. We've jumped the shark here, people, with the Master.
Look, nuke the fridge, maybe. Nuke the fridge. Yeah, like, she is truly worse than he could ever
Good. That might give me another reason to watch that.
It's Missy's her name on that, and she's like... Yeah, she's truly a dark character. Like...
She's actually the wife of one of the showrunners.
Excuse me. Man, that Wendy's chili is fucking kicking my ass. But it's so good.
Well, I was showing my age. We got wings tonight, and I couldn't even finish a dozen.
Oh, yeah, I know. I don't do a dozen when I do it. I do about 7.
I capped off at 9. I looked at my wife. I said, I am full. I don't know what. Then again, I did have
a lot of food if you think about it.
And I did have 2 mozzarella sticks because you can't go to Philly's Finest without ordering mozzarella sticks.
I only get wings from Major League. They're the only wings I eat now. I love them from there.
So I used to love Pizza Bellas, and Jess hates them. So we kind of both agree Philly's Finest is close. It's right down the road, and that's where we usually order wings.
Yeah, no, I agree. Pizza Bell, I used to love all the food they made.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap plug for the place. But I just think that their portions versus their prices,
Yeah.
it's gotten a little silly. Like, I remember, man, you used to get a large pie, double thick with every topping for like $14. When the place first opened. I know he was trying to establish himself and stuff. I understand that. But now it's just like their crust is like paper thin. I don't know.
There's nothing worse than thin crust pizza. I'm sorry.
I know. I order any pizza I order anymore is double thick.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be, no matter what.
You know what we ordered about 2.5 weeks ago?
Mm.
Top notch.
Oh, I haven't had that either.
Well, they're very rarely open. I mean, you have to like judge it by the cycle of the moon when they're going to be open, but we happen to be out somewhere.
Dark incantations.
Yeah, pretty much. We were out somewhere, and I was waiting for Jess to come back, and she had mentioned it a couple days earlier, and they were closed. So I brought up their Facebook page, and they were open. I'm like, oh yeah, it's time for some sausage and Sicilian action.
Yeah, right, man. My uncle lives right down at the top of the hill,
Uh-huh.
Jason to Top Notch, and he knows the owners, and he goes, I just have to call down there. He goes, even if they're not open. He'll be like, yeah, I'll whip you up a couple.
Well, I don't see the old man anymore. The daughter, I think, is pretty much running it now.
Yeah. I like Durf's once in a while, too.
I've never had Durf's.
You never had it?
No.
It's Sicilian style pizza. They have round pie too, but I always just get the Sicilian style. But it's good. It's good.
And I'm going to say sacrilege, but I am at a point, I don't know if it's my digestive system getting older. I can't handle Dino's Pizza anymore. I go to Nello's every time now.
Oh, I like Nello's too, but you know what? I never had any problems with Dino's. I grew up on it,
So did I, but I think it's a fact that you're still eating day-old pizza that's been reheated twice. I think that gets to my stomach now. Because you know it's true. Do you
I don't know. You know when I go there now,
Yeah?
I don't just get a slice. I'm usually with the three of them, so
Oh,
I'm ordering
okay.
a pie.
Yeah.
I
I still get the slices with me and Jack, and it's always that bottom is as black as this iPhone. And it's like, oh.
It's fucking curling up
Yeah.
a little. Yeah.
They overheat it just so you don't taste the staleness of it.
Yeah,
Because
they
by the time you
overheat-
get down to the crust, I mean, the crust is about as flexible as this iPhone. I mean, it's just horrible. And their prices have gone up. I'm sorry. I have a hard time paying $4 for a slice of pizza.
That's why I buy the pie, because it's cheaper. Buy and a couple of drinks, it's cheaper in the long run.
Because we do that a lot of times if we go to my mom's, and we just take the long way and we'll go to Nello's and buy 2 pies at Nello's. Because a large pie at Nello's, I think it's only like $14. It's pretty cheap. And I mean, you've seen the size of their slice. I mean, their larges are huge.
Yeah, it's fucking car door slices.
Seriously.
Yeah. But, so, yeah, you know what? I found I can't eat, like, greasy shit no more. Like, I finally come to the point where my stomach goes, you could either eat this or die,
And see, mine
Like-
is, I could still do greasy. I'm having a hard time, and it's killing me in inches with spicy. I love spicy
Spicy
food.
was
and
never my
it's-
thing anyway.
It's starting to kill me now.
I like my chicken wings mild. Once in a while, I like something with a little pow in it,
Yeah.
But like a guy I work with, he makes like homemade pickles that are like jalapeno hot.
Mhm.
They're good, you know what I mean? But I can only have one. Then it's got to burn off like fucking jet fuel, and then we could repeat one 4 hours later.
When my wife and kids were gone,
Gets me.
I treated myself to burrito with Chipotle.
Ooh.
And I got the medium green salsa chili, and I'm like, I came.
$17.50.
What's
Anyway,
that?
How much was it? $17.50.
It was $10.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's not. Between $5 and $8 for a meal for yourself is a good deal.
Yeah, and it was extra because I got guac because I wanted guacamole on it. But I got that, and man, I'm coming home, and I mean, this thing was like a small baby. It was fantastic. But man, after eating about half of that chili was just getting to me, and I don't get heartburn or anything. It just I get that. You get that almost like that little bit of a sweat, and it's just like your mouth just keeps burning, and it's like, okay, let's put that away and come back to it later.
I'm a big fan of the Wendy's 4 for $4.
My wife yells at me every time I go to Wendy's. I get the same thing.
Let me guess: 2 cheeseburger deluxes and a chili.
Bingo! I've been getting that for Well, hon, when did we meet? 2004. So I've been getting that since before 2004.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of the 4 for $4. You get a small fry, 4 chicken nuggets, a soda, and a burger. Perfect for the kids and I.
Mm-hmm.
I get a chili. I add a chili to it like a moron, but
Their chili is good.
it is good.
It is really good.
Chili's good, and I don't even eat the fries with my burger. I dump it right in the chili, and it's so good. But I was at it's summer, so bazaar season is.
Oh, it is. Pretty soon, buddy.
Yeah. No, like the one by me, St. Leo's has already had theirs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had theirs 2 weekends ago.
Well, I know the one right down the street. That's 2 weeks for us, and that's where we just go there every night and eat.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did. I went down Friday night, and I got kids wanted hot dogs, and I had burger, and we had shared a French fries or whatever like that, and that was it. That's pretty tolerable. The next night, my mom and my wife said we want potato pancakes, and I'm like, that's a fucking hour in line, right? So my mom drops me off down there because there's no parking within a fucking.
Oh, there's never.
Quarter mile of the building.
That's why literally the only one we go to is the one right down the road because it's right down the road. We just walk.
Yeah. Well, I walked down the first night because it's only like 4 blocks or whatever, But the second night I was just going down there for that, so I figured we park close, walk up, wait in line, and go home. No, that wasn't happening. I wait in line 45 minutes for 12 potato pancakes.
Go to Jones's at that point.
I know, but you know what? That's all the way out the fucking lake. I was right here. Anyway, so I get, Kelly and I split them. I give a couple to my mother, whatever. And I get home and like 2 potato pancakes into it. My stomach's going, what were you fucking thinking? Like, moron. Well, I couldn't believe I couldn't eat them.
See, Greece, we just had last night. We had pierogies and kielbasi from Jerry's. And, yeah, I know. And I actually get upset because, to me, pierogies, they should be swimming in butter. And the last 2 times,
I don't fall into that house.
No, I live in that house.
Kelly would get along.
And the last couple times, the pierogies actually broke open when Jess was cooking them, and it absorbed all the butter. Yes, it still had the butter taste. It was still delicious. But in my head, it's like, I should be having these guys float in them. What's that?
Yeah, you don't brown them? You don't put them in a pan and brown them?
Oh, yeah, you do. But sometimes when you boil them first, they break open when you start browning them. When you're
I get
flipping
you.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it just absorbs all that. So, but
you haven't truly been lazy until you've thrown them in the fucking deep fryer.
We had a deep fryer when we got married. We used it twice and said this is too messy.
I have. So, well, I want one of those air fryers.
I've heard good things about those.
I have too. Guy I worked with, his girlfriend. They live close to me, a couple blocks away, whatever. And I see them from time to time. But he told me, he says, man, she did fries in it the other night, and they were awesome.
My sister swears by hers.
Yeah, she goes, they taste like you fried them, but there's only a very minimal amount of oil. You still have to use a little bit of oil, from what I could tell. I don't know much about it.
I may have to look into that. I never thought about that.
Yeah. But I'm saying, I'm telling you, ever try a pierogi? If you were especially if you're ever home by yourself, which I know doesn't happen a lot. Not good. But if you ever want a quick meal, deep fry yourself a handful of pierogies. They're fucking great.
See, I am so simple. My wife hates me. I am so simple when it comes to meals.
I don't
sometimes.
think she hates you. I think she hates you.
Well, she hates me for a multitude of reasons.
Yeah.
But for me, a meal could be a bowl of cereal.
I'm the same
let's
way.
be honest. You never have just one bowl of cereal. After 2 bowls of cereal, that's a meal.
Yeah. I do one mounding bowl of cereal. One that's a little spilling all over the place. Yeah, to me, a meal is a bag of soft pretzel bites.
Yes.
That's like a nice quick meal. Warm it up, your side of choice, whether it's mustard or whatever like that. I use salsa with them. I think that tastes good. Cheese, I don't eat that, but they do.
There was one day last year, my wife was sick, and she was in
one day all year?
No, but I'm just using that as an example.
I'm just kidding.
And she just didn't want to eat it all. And so I wasn't going to make a whole meal because, when you have back then it was a 2-year-old and a 7-year-old. Making food, you're basically feeding the dog is what you're doing. They're going to pick and choose what they want. That's it. Yeah, pretty much. So I said, we have what we call a grab night, which is everyone fends for themselves. You want a peanut butter and jelly? I'll make you that. You want a bowl of cereal? I'll make you that. And I shit you not, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I had the same exact thing. I ate waffles. And I
Yeah.
went to bed a happy man that night.
Yeah.
Because I could eat waffles anytime, anywhere.
Now, do you make
any
your
place.
own, or are they frozen?
They're
Jobs?
frozen. We
Oh,
do
okay.
make our own. We've been trying for a couple months now that Saturday mornings we'll have a big homemade breakfast. And it's usually either pancakes, waffles, or French toast. And we'll do the bacon, and we'll do the sausages, and the orange juice. And other than that, breakfast in the morning is usually Pop-Tarts and frozen waffles.
Yeah.
That's what we got time
I
for.
stopped since I found out I have a sugar problem
Mhm.
about a month or two ago. You never read packages more than you do now, which I wish I didn't fucking have to. But after reading like the side of a waffle package, I can't eat them anymore.
Oh no! Every 2 weeks I go to Sam's Club and I get the I think there's 80 waffles in the case and
God.
yeah.
Back when I lived here by myself, I would say pre-kid, probably even pre-married. That was like,
Sorry, we had to reminisce there for a moment.
Oh, hold on. Oh, yeah. That was great. Anyway, but like I remember like it was like Sam's Club pack of granola bars,
Oh yeah.
Sam's Club pack of waffles,
Mhm.
Coke, yeah, by the 224 packs of Coke. They were like meals for a week. God, man. Or oatmeal. I'm big on oatmeal. I like oatmeal.
I like oatmeal. I just can't do it a lot. To me, cereal and waffles are pretty much the extent of my breakfast. I don't like eggs. Well, I'm not a fan of eggs. I will eat eggs like 3 times a year, but I'm not a fan of eggs.
It depends on how they're cooked, but most of the time I can eat them anyway, anytime. But yeah, oatmeal I like because I like oatmeal in the winter when it's cold out. It's a good hot meal. Plus, it sits with you for a long time, which I have to have more meals like that now because I have watch everything I eat because I'm over 40 and slowly dying.
Since we're talking about breakfast here, did I ever tell you the story about taking my son to Waffle House?
Probably not.
So it was after, I think, our 3rd episode. We had ended the episode, and my son came out, and he had to use the bathroom. So I'm shutting down everything here. He flushes the toilet. Now, my bathroom is right here, right next to
Is
me.
this one the one where the toilet floods?
Yes, the
Yes,
the supply line just literally burst, and I'm getting hit with water. It's by this point it's like 1:00 in the morning. We need a toilet. It's the only toilet in the house. So he was the only one up besides me. I said, "Okay, buddy." I said, "Get dressed. We're gonna go for a ride," which he thought was great. So we had to go about 45 minutes away up to the Walmart up in Duryea, up in Pittston there. Found that, and I said, you know what? It's like 1:30, 2 o'clock now. And I said, I'm hungry. Do you want to go for something to eat? He's like, yeah, where can we go?
This is like cool dad moment.
Exactly. It's the cool, middle of the night, father and son out. I said, let's go to Waffle House. He goes, oh, I like Waffle House. I said, me too. Let's go. So we go up there, and we're the only sober people in the place. Cool. So we're sitting there. We sit down, and Jack goes, I know exactly what I want to get. I said, what are you going to get, buddy? He looks at me straight face and goes, pancakes. And I look at him, I said, Jack, where are we at? Waffle House. Do you think a Waffle House has pancakes? He just like, oh, I guess they don't.
Yeah. Do they?
No,
what
they
do they
don't.
actually do?
No.
What do they
But he was
actually
just
do
so proud of himself. It's like, we're at Waffle House. I'm getting pancakes.
Yeah.
It's like,
Now,
sorry,
the
buddy.
International House of Pancakes is the International House of Burgers.
Which Wendy's had the best tweet about that. Did you see that? The burn they had? Someone tweeted Wendy's, are you afraid of IHOP making burgers now? And they came back and said, no, we're not scared of a place that thought pancakes was too hard.
Oh my God, that's great. I'd seen one where instead of Bob's Burgers, it was Bob's Pancakes. I forget. There was quite a few burns on them. That was a strange decision they made.
I've yet to be up the new IHOP they just opened up.
Yeah,
so.
because the fucking line out the door is about 7 miles long.
So.
My mom took the kids there when my brother was home a couple weeks ago. They all went there when I was at work. Fuckers. Anyway, and that was pretty good.
The only time we go out for breakfast is always when we go to the beach. We always stop at the same diner in New Jersey, and it's like a tradition. If we don't go to that diner, we don't go to the beach. So.
That's like when we go to the beach. If we don't go home until we go to a diner that we always all have breakfast at, like
Mhm.
that morning.
Yeah.
So I can't remember the damn name of the place. Shit, the place is awesome, but that's the place where you get pancakes as big as a car.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
You
It's
walk
like
in and
$9.
and then the waitress calls you hun automatically.
Yeah.
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 And
See, that's what I miss the Heart Restaurant. The Heart Restaurant, you could take 6 people there, get more food than the 6 you could eat, and it was like $9
Mhm.
for everybody. Like places like that don't exist anymore.
And you're in an absolute perfect diner when you walk in and they have the rotating case of pies and desserts.
Yes.
And yeah, we're home.
Haystacks has that. You ever go to Haystacks?
No.
It's on 309 there.
Yeah, I know where it's at. Never been there.
I went there once. They have really good pie, and that's about where it stops.
We went a couple weeks ago to the Parkway Diner, right across from Hanover Mall, because we had to go to Garrity's and we were running late and didn't have dinner. And the food there was actually quite good.
Oh, Parkway's good. I like I like Osty's personally.
Osty's is good. Osty's, you can't go wrong with Osty's.
Osty's has kielbasi as a breakfast meat.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I like going there. In fact, the lady I work with is a waitress there on the weekends. I kind of just found that out, but pretty neat.
Their cheesesteaks are huge there. They're
I know.
so good.
Their portions are good.
Yeah.
That's a mom and pop's place. They know
Yeah.
what kind of shit you want, I get 3 eggs, home fries, bacon, and I'm sorry, kielbasi and toast, $4. You
can't
that's a
beat
meal.
that.
And their potatoes O'Brien with the fucking peppers and onions in them. Ah, that's so good. It's a little Irish man in me. Anything O'Brien, yeah.
Miles O'Brien.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's why I think
Whatever
of
happened to him? They use him as Irish bad guy now. That's what he plays. Jokes, Call him matey.
I think that's about it. I mean,
I think
we hit our mark. We
have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to do this more, but this was fun. Just a no-topic show. Just jump from place to place.
Yeah, it was good. We hit we skipped right over the E3 concept, which was pretty good.
Yeah. We did touch on video games, movies, Doctor Who, food, all the stuff that's important to guys in their 40s.
Getting older.
I'm reminded of that every morning when I hear Rice Krispies as I crawl out of bed.
Yeah.
Snap, crackle, pop, snap, crackle. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know what? I'm reminded I'm old every day. I make the conscious decision to get out of bed.
Are you kidding? I've gotten so old to the point that it doesn't matter if I go to the bathroom before bed. Every night at about 4:30 in the morning, it's always right around 4:30, I get up and I have to go to the bathroom. And for the first couple of weeks, I actually looked at the clock, and now I just know. I get up, oh, it's 4:30. Okay, let's go pee and crawl back into bed for a couple more hours.
I get up at 4:30.
And I apologize for that.
Yeah, well, it's part of life.
So. Yeah.
What is that noise?
What?
Is that in my house? Hold on.
It's got to be in your house. The only thing I got going in my house is my wife is sewing a quilt in the next room.
No, that's not it. Okay, all right, never mind.
Okay.
It must be the kids upstairs listening to stupid shit. Okay, so this was fun.
Yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget the website, 40somethingpodcast.com. You can watch this show, listen to the show, download the show. iTunes, hit us up, subscribe.
Sponsor this show.
We will always take a sponsor.
Yeah.
No matter what, we will take a sponsor. Yeah. Also, like I said, like us on iTunes, leave us a review, tell us we're great, tell us we suck, we don't care. We're on Twitter at 40something show. And that's it.
You'll always find me and Trev sharing the stupidest shit.
The stupidest,
like
geekiest shit.
GameCube keyboard.
Yes, the ASCII GameCube keyboard, which was basically made for Phantasy Star Online and like 3 other games that the cheapest I did find it on eBay with shipping was about $95.
I saw it used on Amazon. It was about $85.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I went with it.
Because this one was $80, but it was $15 shipping, so it was about $95 shipped. So
the only way you're gonna find that cheap, and not we're trying to close the show up, but you're gonna find that in the wild somewhere cheap.
You're gonna find it at a flea market. Yeah. That's where you're gonna find it.
And the person who has it doesn't know what it is.
Exactly.
That's what you have to hope for.
And that's the most beautiful flea market vendor you'll ever find.
Yeah.
Which my wife is going to the flea market on Sunday morning, so I got to give her a list of things to look out for.
I was thinking about. I'm going to go next Sunday in the morning. Or maybe next Sunday. I go. It's after payday. Yeah.
Now she
Yeah.
wants to go this week, so I'm like, I'll stay in bed. I'll stay home with the kids, and text me anything you see in any of these categories. So,
All right.
okay, guys,
Now.
thanks for watching. Jerry, once again, thanks for having no life and
Hey,
joining me on Friday
I'm
night.
always happy to be here with you, Trey. It's the only way I actually physically talk to you.
Physically talk. Well,
Yeah.
I guess you could consider us physically. We text every day, all day, but actually seeing your ugly mug for once,
Yes.
See?
Yes.
Yes. Okay,
All right.
guys, have a good one. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right.
Bye.